Imagine the moment the gates open and the noise of the Colosseum crashes over you. Thousands of Romans rise to their feet as armed fighters step into the dust. For the crowd, this is thrilling entertainment. For the men in the arena, it is a test of skill, courage, and survival. Popular culture often turns gladiators into simple action heroes, but the truth was more complicated. Their lives were controlled, disciplined, and dangerous, shaped by the needs of spectacle and the power of Rome. Behind every dramatic battle stood a harder human story. Gladiators came from many backgrounds. Some were prisoners captured in war, some were enslaved, and some were criminals sentenced to the arena. A few even volunteered, hoping for money, fame, or a second chance in a brutal world. Once selected, a future gladiator entered a new system. He could be sold, assigned, or transferred into a gladiator school and placed under the command of a lanista, the owner and manager of fighters. From that moment on, his body and his future became part of an organized business. The oath of a gladiator was a serious declaration of obedience and endurance. It meant accepting hardship, punishment, and the possibility of death in front of a crowd. This was not a symbolic gesture. It marked a complete surrender to the harsh discipline of arena life. Life inside the gladiator school was tightly controlled. The ludus was part barracks, part prison, and part professional training center. Fighters lived under constant supervision, separated from ordinary Roman life, and shaped into performers of violence. Training was relentless and highly structured. Gladiators repeated movements again and again, practicing footwork, shield control, and strikes with weighted wooden weapons. They were not random brawlers. They were trained specialists who learned to fight with precision. Physical preparation depended on more than training alone. Gladiators followed a practical diet built to support strength and recovery, often based on grains and legumes. Their routine balanced exertion, food, and rest, because a healthy fighter was a valuable fighter. The arena demanded healers as much as warriors. Doctors and assistants treated cuts, bruises, and deeper wounds, doing everything possible to preserve trained men. Owners invested heavily in their fighters, and medical care helped protect that investment. Not all gladiators fought in the same way. Some carried heavy shields and short swords, while others used nets, tridents, or curved blades. Each type of gladiator was designed to look different, move differently, and create a distinct kind of contest for the crowd. Armor was protection, but it was also identity. A helmet, a shield, or a special weapon could define a fighter before the combat even began. Roman audiences understood these visual codes instantly, and the equipment helped turn battle into dramatic performance. The games were fueled by money, planning, and politics. Owners trained fighters, sponsors funded events, and organizers matched opponents to create compelling shows. The arena was not only a place of violence. It was also a business built on image, risk, and reward. Victorious gladiators could become famous far beyond the arena. Their names appeared in public memory, and admirers followed their success with excitement. In a world without modern celebrities, gladiators could still command attention, admiration, and fascination. Before the games began, the mood changed. In quiet rooms and shadowed corners, fighters adjusted armor, checked weapons, and prepared themselves in silence. The noise of the crowd waited outside, but inside, the tension was personal and deeply human. Beneath the arena lay a hidden world of corridors, equipment, cages, crews, and waiting fighters. It was the machinery behind the spectacle, a place of suspense just beyond public view. From these tunnels, combatants emerged into the full light of the Roman stage. The entrance into the arena was ceremonial and unforgettable. Fighters marched before the crowd in a display of order, discipline, and power. Before any clash began, the audience had already been drawn into the drama of presence and performance. Contrary to the modern myth, gladiator fights were not always uncontrolled chaos. Referees and officials could intervene, observe conduct, and help keep the contest within expected rules. The crowd wanted intensity, but structure gave that intensity meaning. When combat began, every movement mattered. Distance, timing, stamina, and nerve could decide the contest in seconds. What the audience saw as spectacle was also a technical struggle between trained opponents reading one another under immense pressure. Defeat did not always mean immediate death. The fate of a fallen fighter could depend on the sponsor, the crowd, and the circumstances of the match. Mercy was part of the theater as well, and those decisions added another layer of tension to the arena. Victory could transform a man standing in an instant. Applause, prizes, admiration, and public recognition could lift a gladiator above the anonymous mass of ordinary suffering. Success in the arena brought both reward and the temptation to fight again. Although rare, women also appeared in the gladiator world. Their presence was unusual enough to attract special notice, and it reminds us that Roman spectacle could be both broader and stranger than many people imagine today. For some fighters, the greatest prize was not fame but freedom. The wooden sword known as the rudis symbolized release from the life of the arena. To receive it meant survival, recognition, and the end of a brutal chapter. Over time, the gladiator tradition began to fade. Political change, evolving cultural values, and the transformation of the late Roman world weakened the old system that had sustained the games for centuries. The arena slowly lost its central place in public life. Yet gladiators never disappeared from memory. Their image survived in art, storytelling, and the modern imagination as a symbol of danger, fame, and endurance. Subscribe to the channel and join the History Storytellers for cinematic history documentaries and journeys into the past.